Hey, what's going on, Pats Nation? Welcome to another edition of the Cans Pats Talk Patriots podcast. I'm here today is Wednesday, July 17th, I believe it is today. Let me check the yeah, July 17th. It's been so busy this week. I'm getting my days mixed up. We are here today to talk some Patriots ball. Got my buddy here, my co-host here, Matt on Patriots Stats on Instagram. Make sure y'all give him a follow. Are you on Twitter, man?
I'm not on. I mean, I am on Twitter, but I'm not really on there. I don't really post on there. I just kind of get updates from there. But yeah,
Okay,
Patriots.
well, yeah. Repeat that. You cut out a little bit.
Patriots status is my Instagram.
Patriot Stats on Instagram, and this is my co-host, man. Make sure y'all give him a follow. Make sure you give him a follow. What's going on, man? What's new? What's new, man? I know we're gonna talk about some Matthew Judah on the contract. Boy, I think that mess is getting messy. We got Brent Ayuk. He has officially requested a trade as of yesterday. Adam Schefter reported, and then we'll get into some Ricky's report on Friday, man. So we're gonna start with the Brendan Ayuk news, man. What you think about that?
So, if I'm a 49ers fan right now, well, let's just say if I'm a 49ers fan a couple months ago, I'm kind of just ignoring all that. I'm kind of just, like I said, ignoring it. I want Brandon to stay on my team. He's a big part of that offense, and him and Debo work really well together. But now that he, officially requested a trade, he clearly wants out. They're not getting close in contract talks, and if they get nothing for him, he's going to walk in free agency next year. So, in that case, I think Brandon Ayuk's going to get moved within the next 7 to 10 days, whether it's to the Patriots, which we could talk about some, potential trade packages for us. But some other teams I've heard involved are the Steelers, Commanders, Chargers, Bills. So it's going to be interesting. I do not think Brandon Ayuk will be on the 49ers roster come week one. But what are some potential trade packages you'd like to give up for Brandon Ayuk if you're a Pats fan?
Me personally, what's going on, Jamari? Appreciate you joining me, man. Hey, make sure y'all, if y'all watching on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, IG, wherever, make sure you hit that like button. Give me the thumbs up. The more thumbs up, the more eyeballs I get. Make sure you share the content, man. I really appreciate it. Jamari, what's going on with you, man? One of my loyal followers and subscribers from day one. So appreciate that. Brendan Ayuk. I'm kind of on both sides of the spectrum here. I want the Patriots to do something at wide receiver, but I want to see what these young guys got. Let's see what we got in Pope. Let's see what we got in Baker, Pop, Kayshawn Booty. Well, we haven't had a chance to talk about that. He had his charges dropped or whatnot, so that was good for him. He had a pretty good mini count. My thing is, if you bring in a Brendan Ayuk, guess what that does? Everybody else on the depth chart, including your young Greeks that you just signed, they're gonna slide down one spot. So I don't want to do that. I think next year be the year for you to go out and sign that wide receiver trade. And why give up an asset if he wants out? He's gonna be a free agent after the season. But then I think the 49ers still can franchise tag him after the season or whatever if they want to do that. Throw a bag at him in the offseason or go get a T. Higgins. I want to see more from Brendan Ayuk because I don't know if he's that true number one that we're looking, man. He's put up good numbers, but dang, look at that offense. You got McCaffrey, you got Debo, you got Jennings there, you got George Kittle, like good offensive line. He's surrounded by a lot of talent there. So we haven't seen him just be the sole number one guy with nobody else around him. So let's just see. I kind of want to wait and see, man. Let's just wait and see what happens. Because we might even have our number one on the roster. Who knows? Pope could be that guy. We these guys haven't played a snap yet. They have not played a snap yet. So I just want to wait and see what happens before we get into all that, man. I don't want to do it right now. I think it's too early. Let's just see what we got at quarterback. Let's just see if the offensive line can hold up. I mean, I think we're ways from that. I think in the offseason we definitely can have that conversation. Jamari says I heard the Rays are involved too. They got Devontae Adams, so and they just paid Jacoby Myers. I don't really see that one happening.
Interesting.
I
like what you said.
That's an interesting one, though.
Yeah. I like what you said about the younger guys because, I think you want all these guys to develop at the same time. Because if you get Ayuk, he's already an established receiver. Even if you don't want to call him a one, he's already an established, top 20, 15 receiver in the NFL. And he just wouldn't be able to develop up with our young guys. I think having May, Baker, and Polk all develop at the same time will only help them. And especially with Jacoby Brissett being that safety blanket, if he does start like we all expect, that'll only help them as well. I think Ayuk's ready to win now. That's what he said back in February. He said he wants to win a Super Bowl. So whether he stays with the 49ers or moves on to another team. But personally, if he does come here, I'm pumped because whether May plays week 1, week 8, or if he doesn't play, Ayuk's only going to help him out. And he's only going to help the younger guys out by taking targets away. And the only tough thing about that, like we said, is it moves everyone down the depth chart. So now you got to think of, cutting a few other guys that you weren't expecting before. Maybe KJ Osborne doesn't make the cut if you get a guy like Brandon Ayuk. So who knows with that? But a trade package, like I said, I don't think I would personally give up our first next year just because, again, it might be a pretty valuable pick. I could see us giving up a second and maybe trading Matthew Judon, especially with all the contract negotiations going on with him right now. But we could talk about that in a little bit. But yeah, I love the idea of getting Ayuk, but being a real fan and being patient, it's also not the greatest idea for the development of this team.
Well, I agree. That good point there. Jamar said, "Yeah, I'm not going to get my hopes up without you." Let's move on to the Matthew Judon situation. Boys, this situation here get messy. I mean, I know Greg Bedore from what is it, the Boston Sports Journal. He does a podcast with Nick Cattles, pretty good podcast. I watch it when I can. He said he doesn't see Judon playing on the current contract. I think right now he's getting paid $6 million.
Yeah.
Right now. I don't think he plays on that. Maybe they give him like a boost or something like that. I don't think Devon Gostar would get anything. I think maybe you could you get Matthew Judon a little boost or whatnot and see if he'll play on that. And maybe like an Ascension Latham deal. What is he, 30, 31 years old? I don't think he's a part of playing long term. He probably got another couple of years at a high level. I mean, see what you can get from him in a trade. I mean, see if you can get, because you're going to need picks for the future. I'm sure a Super Bowl contending team, a title contending team would give you maybe a third round pick for him or something like that. I don't think you get like a first or second. That's crazy. Maybe like a third round pick. I'll take that for Matthew Judon. I think the Patriots do need him because what do you have behind him? Josh Uche, Keon White is unproven. They signed a couple guys in free agency. Detroit, like you don't really have anything. So the ball's in Judon's court. They really, you really do need Judon. And if you want that defense to be as competitive and good as it was last year, you might want to get something done with Matthew Judon.
Yeah, $6 million for a player of his caliber when he's on his game it's definitely too little for sure. And I'm not saying I totally agree with how he's handling the situation, but I do think he deserves a pay raise. And in my personal opinion, I do think they're going to get it done because, like you said, we have a lot of guys under him that are either unproven or they thrive off of, having a one above them, like Josh Uche, like Anthony Jennings. Even though Anthony Jennings played really well last year, I think he would only get better with the help of Matthew Judon in front of him. So I think they will eventually end up getting that done, whether it's, giving him another 1 year pay raise, maybe signing him to 3 more years. But you got to explore the trade market with him too, because if you expect him to walk next year and, if he's not going to play on this contract and, the highest you're getting is a 3rd round pick, then you might have to pull the trigger and just do it, man, because, it's better than doing that than, have Judon sit out the whole season for us holding out hope, that he might play a game and then losing him for nothing next year. So again, I'm kind of on both sides with that, but if I was, Elliott Wolf and the Patriots, I would probably give him a pay raise, maybe extend him to a couple more years. Even if he's not, peak 16 and a half sack Judon, he still does help the younger guys on this defense, and he's a great leader.
Real good point, Stats, man. Jamar says, I know my team, we're not getting here. He probably talking about Ayuk. Sports Academy, appreciate it. Make sure y'all hit that like button, share the content. Agree, Matt. From what I'm hearing, a first and Judon way too much. Yeah. I agree with
Even
that.
Just take Judon out of that. I just wouldn't give up our 1st round pick for a lot of people right now, honestly.
He'd be the clear one wide receiver here, which I think he won't. Yeah, he will, because if you get Brandon Ayuk, we're back on Brandon Ayuk. You got Ayuk, Pop Douglas will be in the slot, Pope probably your 3rd receiver, Baker probably 4. Then what happens to Kendrick Bourne? Is he going to be the 5th? We just gave him a 3-year extension. Kendrick, you got a 3-year extension to be your 5th wide receiver? I don't know if he's going to be okay with that. Is Baker going to be the 5th? And then, your 6th guy has to play special teams. That's not KJ Osborne. Maybe you keep Jalen Reagor. So who knows? So I think Juju talking about they'll probably be out the door if you do acquire Brandon Ayuk. But that's a top freaking 10, 15 core right there, because right now you got a bunch of 2s and 3s right now. Pop Douglas, legitimate 2. It's early. I think he could be a good 2. Polk, if he can do what he did in Washington plus more, he's going to get more targets with us. Baker, we don't know. I can't wait to see what he does next week in camp. You get Brandon Ayuk, like I said, I don't think he's a 1, but I think he's a close thing to a 1 probably to get. I think it makes the wide receiver core look a whole lot better. But would you rather make that trade for him, Stats, or would you rather just throw him a bag in the offseason?
So that's a really good debate, because like we said, we want all these guys to develop at the same time. And if Ayuk's going to leave next year, which is looking like it's 100% going to happen, whether it's now or leave in the offseason, hold out the whole season with San Francisco, whatever happens. But in my opinion, whatever team trades for him, not only do they have to worry about trading for him, but immediately after you get him, you have to think about an extension because he's looking for a bag.
Yeah.
Right now, if you trade for him, he's probably still going to hit the free agent market next year.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're
And
the
you do
Patriots,
not want to give up something for him just for a half a season or just for
yeah,
1 year then for him to go.
especially with the position we're in, because we're probably, like we said, we're probably not winning the Super Bowl this year. So if you get him as a rental this year and he leaves, that just doesn't make much sense if you're the Patriots. Because let's just say we gave up 2 seconds, and Patriots are still developing, and we need those picks. Those picks are valuable, and you give up 2 seconds for a guy that leaves the next season, it doesn't make too much sense. So if we do trade for him, you have to extend him right away, and we have the money, so there's no excuse. But our guys under him, this is the positive thing, will only thrive under him for sure. Pop Douglas will be one of the best shoes in the NFL. Jalen Polk, whether he might not get as much targets.
Now
As
Pop and Polk going to get the second and third best corners on the
Yes.
team now with your number one wide. Say for instance, if you're playing the Jets and they gonna put Sauce Gardner on, probably on Brent Ayuk. I don't know who the number two. I mean, Reed is the second corner for the Jets. Then you got the number. Everybody else slides down, so mismatches right there. I get what you're saying.
So if you do, and the other thing is, if you do trade for Ayuk, another thing you got to think about is the bottom of the receiving core, because like you said, at that point, KJ Osborne's your sixth guy. And he's been, he hasn't been, top of his core. He's always been behind Diggs, Thielen, Jefferson, Addison. But he's not a sixth receiver. We're forgetting KJ Osborne's a pretty solid receiver. And if you have him as your sixth guy and you sign him to a contract this offseason, I don't know if the Patriots are really aiming for that. I think this year they signed Bourne, they signed Osborne as solid veteran pieces to help the younger guys develop. But if you trade for Ayuk, you got a lot of question marks at the end. Juju Smith-Schuster's not playing special teams. KJ Osborne's not playing special teams. Kayshon Boutte, maybe. The only one I can think of there is Jalen Reagor. And with the charges getting dropped from Boutte, and
that's good.
I feel like everything's looking up for him, and it's good to get that off the Patriots' mind. So, again.
Now, with the Boutte news, the charges did get dropped, but they still can give him a suspension, though, from the league, which probably like a couple games, whatnot, depending on how severe it is. But it's good. The first domino to drop was the charges getting dropped, so that's good.
Well, Boutte needs to have an extremely good camp to, prove himself to have a spot on this roster, whether he gets suspended or not. He can't just, walk through camp now that the charges are dropped saying, oh, I'm on the team, I'm safe. Because that's not the case. Right now, he's probably our sixth or seventh guy. He needs to prove that he's above these guys on the bottom. Him and Juju, talking about training camp battles, that's a huge battle right there.
Tyquan Thornton, too.
Tyquan Thornton, too. I think Thornton's a tad below them, but even Thornton, too. But the battle for that fifth and sixth receiver, if they want any playing time, it's between Boutte and Juju, and that's going to be a good battle.
Yep, real good. You couldn't have said that any better. And one more thing before we move on to the to our last topic of the night. If Brandon Ayuk hits the free agent market, now guess what? You remember what happened with Calvin Ridley this past season? We supposedly threw him a bag. We really wanted him, but he didn't want to come to New England. Didn't have a quarterback. They said somebody's girlfriend didn't like the cold weather, something like that. He wants to stay down south. So now, if he gets the if he hits free agency, you're contending against a bunch of teams that want his services, not just you. See, if you trade for him, you can trade for him and extend on paying right there. But if he gets the free agency, who wants to come to the Patriots right now? Nobody. Now, because this past offseason, we couldn't even get Calvin Ridley. The Tennessee Titans outbid the Patriots for Calvin Ridley. No, they overpaid him by a couple million, but come on, man. But I'm glad that we was in on that, because that's different. We normally don't do that. We normally don't throw a lot of money at people. I'm glad we was in on that. But you heard the rumors, the Tennessee Titans, he went to Tennessee over the Patriots. Come on, man. When does that, he went to the Titans. And I mean, what happened last year? DeAndre Hopkins, he went to the Titans because the Titans paid him more. So we have to kind of get over that hurdle a little bit of, for one, you got to have a quarterback. You got to get a quarterback. I think Drake May's the guy. I think he'd be better than Will Levis. I mean, that's not saying a lot because we haven't seen Will Levis. I like Will Levis, but we haven't seen Will Levis do anything. But if you got that quarterback, let's just, I said, hold on to the all season. See what you got in Drake May. Maybe Brennan Ayuk sits back. He be like, I like when New England got up on the scene. Drake May, I might can add something there because they got a couple of receivers. I'm maybe the missing piece there, and see what you can do then. Because then you sign Brennan Ayuk and draft your tackle because you might have a top 10 pick next year. Let's just say you got a top 10 pick next year. You draft your tackle in the top 10, throw it back at Brennan Ayuk. You're cooking with gas then. You got something you could probably Next year, I don't want to get too deep into it. Next year, if you get your tackle in the first round next year, because I don't know what Chucks or Corfer is going to be. I don't know. Kaden Wall, I don't know what size. I don't know what we got left tackle. But assuming our top needs next year probably be tackle, maybe receiver, maybe defensive line. You get a tackle with your top 10 pick, throw it back at Brendan Ayuk. Right now, you might could be fighting for a playoff spot next year. Because we seen what that wide receiver did for Stephon Diggs. Look at Tua. And I don't think Tua that daggone good, but look at Tyreek Hill and Waddle. Look at Josh Allen. His first year was rough. They got Stephon Diggs. They got Stephon Diggs. Allen's a top 10 quarterback right now. So let's just wait and see. I won't do it right now. I'd wait and see. Let's see what you got in these young guys, man.
Perfectly said. And back to the Calvin Ridley thing, it's tricky because free agency starts before the draft and ends before the draft. So a lot of times when a team's looking for a QB, those top end wide receivers who they don't know who the next guaranteed quarterback on that team is going to be. Calvin Ridley didn't know Drake May was going to be our quarterback. He could have had an idea, but let's just say he came here and we didn't draft a quarterback and we just went with Brissett for another year. Calvin Ridley would have regretted that decision right away. But it sounds weird hearing that the Tennessee Titans outbid the New England Patriots just with the market that we are. But again, the quarterback thing comes into play. And as soon as people see that Drake May has that high potential and people are like, man, that kid, we can win with that kid, then those top end receivers are going to want to come over here.
Jake Cable, I hope I said that right. Next live, you guys should predict the record with the powerhouse of a schedule we have. I agree, man. Maybe, tune in. We might do a show Friday. Me and Matt, we discussed that show. We keep y'all posted. Might do a show Friday. If not Friday, definitely by the end of the week or start next week. But we definitely try to get a couple more shows in before count starts next week, though. Appreciate that, Jake. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you share. Make sure you comment. Jake, if RU wants to come here, we need to pay him a bag. Like I said, you just have to wait probably to the off season. You can have more. Because Steelers probably gonna want him in the offseason, but we got the most money this offseason. We're gonna have a lot of money. So if he wants to get paid, and not so if he wants to get paid, it's probably gonna be us. He probably gonna go to the highest bidder. Unless we just got to wait and see what we got in our wide receivers. Man, I just want to hold off and wait. If you're telling me right now, Baker gonna be inconsistent, Polk is gonna be a 2, probably a 2 also. Bourne still gonna be Bourne. Okay, let's go get RU then. But we don't know what we got yet. So let's just, and you know what this Elliott Wolford, they like to draft and develop. I think best case scenario, what if during camp practices next week, Javon Baker making some highlight reel plays, at least 2 plays a day. Jalen Polk is making some plays. Pop Douglas being Pop. What about Kayshon Boutte? You got 4 wide receivers right now. 4 wide receivers right there, young guys.
Yep.
So, I think best case scenario, you get with these young guys, let the young guys play. And let's see, because they're only going to develop by playing. Now go learn that by sitting on the bench. Let's let the young guys play it out, and we will see where that takes us. Jamari said wide receivers might want to come when they see the new offense. Agree. Good point.
Van Pelt's
yes, sir. Little watching these and DW. I like. Don't worry, I like that.
Don't worry, I like it. Yeah.
Appreciate it. We appreciate it, Jake. Man, I'm loving this, man. Last topic. Patriots rookies report on Friday the 19th, and the veterans report Monday, I believe, or Tuesday. The first practice is going to be Wednesday. My boy Matt, you're going to be at the practice, man. Tell everybody what you're going to be looking for and what to expect this Friday. Well, rookies, I think they're probably going to be at the hotel, so I don't think they'll be on the field until next week. But what are you looking for starting Friday when the rookies report and next week when you're going to be at practice?
Yeah, so Tom brought up a good point last episode. If you haven't watched that, go check it out, by the way. It was great talking with him. But the 19th for the rookies is kind of just like a thing. Like they just say that. They're already all there. There's no way they're just going to get there on the 19th. Like, I know Drake May is already at Gillette. He already said that.
Yeah.
What I'm looking for next week, and what I looked for last year as well, when Kayshon Boutte and Pop Douglas were younger. I'm looking for the rookies to be able to compete on an NFL defense, because it's not like we have a bottom of the barrel defense. These rookies are going straight into it with top-notch defensive players. And I'm not even just talking about the receivers, because that's what everyone likes to look at. I like to look at all positions. I'm going to look at Caden Wallace and Layden Robinson, the 2 offensive linemen we drafted. We got some pretty good defensive linemen, especially if Judon's there. We got some tough guys. Christian Barmore, if Devon Godchaux's playing at his level, like Tom said, he's a pretty dominant player. I need to see if these guys can compete at an NFL level, especially against a very solid defense. I'm not really worried about Marcel's Dial. I think he'll develop really well, especially with our cornerback group. We're really strong there. That's one of our strongest positions actually. But talking about quarterbacks, the wide receivers, can they, compete with these high level quarterbacks? Christian Gonzalez, he's a tough guy to get open with. And I'm going to guess they're probably going to match him up with Jalen Polk a lot. If you want to say Polk's the one right now, Javon Baker, can he, if he's matched up with Marcus Jones, Alex
Got to
Austin,
be consistent.
Yeah, you have to be. You can't have one big play because, again, a lot of casual fans will look at one big play and say, oh, he's the guy. You got to be consistent. You have to be consistently getting open.
You can't be Justin Aguilar, make a play here and there, and then next play you drop.
Yeah, yeah. Oh my God, you can't just get like you said, get open one play, make a nice play, and then the next 10 you get locked up. You got to make sure the QB's at least looking your way on every play, or at least 8 out of the 10 plays to show yourself. Because we're predicting Polk and Baker to make the roster. They still got to have a good camp because they're rookies. Yeah. They're playing against pros. So it's a big week for the rookies next week. I'm super excited to go.
What days would you be there?
I don't have set days for next week. I can kind of just go whenever. We'll see though. Probably maybe Wednesday or Thursday.
Okay, man. Hey, I cannot wait, man. Hey, man, that's gonna wrap it up for the night, Matt. Well, I call you Stats, man. You my guy, man. Hey, I'm loving it, man. We are grinding. We got some views, man. We are grinding. We putting in the work, and we haven't even really got started yet. It's kind of slow right now, but starting next week, we're gonna be wide open. We're probably gonna start going live consistently Monday. When my work schedule's been crazy. Just got back from the gym, so we normally go live at 7:30, but I was late coming on night. Sorry about that, guys. But we're going to start during the season. It's going to be Monday nights, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Monday is going to be a recap of the Sunday action. Well, of course, the first week going to be it's going to be different because the first game. Wednesday, it's going to be like what's it going to be a look ahead to the opponent. We're going to look ahead to the opponent and start breaking down the opponent. Friday's going to be our prediction show. We're going to try to take our biasness out of it, but Friday's going to be the prediction show. So that's what I can.
Season games too. Which is coming up in 3 weeks.
Yes, preseason. I think we opened up. I know we got joint practices with the Eagles. Are you gonna try to get to that practice?
Those ones are tough because people love going to those, especially because it's at Gillette this year. We normally don't have joint practices at Gillette, but
yeah.
I think I'm gonna go to the Panthers Pats, which is our first preseason game.
Okay. So Panthers, and that's a home. Yeah. That's gonna be a home. That's gonna be a good one, man. Preseason schedule. We're gonna try to do some shows on the preseason, but definitely Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays during the regular season. And we're gonna try to do something similar to that in the preseason too. Might do like an Instagram live. We might just go YouTube live after the game days or whatnot. We get all that figured out. But hey, man, I appreciate. We got a few more comments. Trying to show love to all the comments, especially they're taking time out to watch it. I love all the comments. Sports Academy, I love watching you guys. Appreciate it, man. My boy Cosette Parker, appreciate it. What I missed, we got on a little late tonight, man, having some technical difficulties. But you could also go back and rewatch it. Appreciate it. Hit that like button wherever y'all live. Y'all YouTube, please hit that like button. Sports Academy, great job. Keep it going. Yes, sir. Appreciate it. Joseph, another loyal follower, just started coming along with the fire emoji. Appreciate it. Hit that like button. Appreciate it. Look ahead would be awesome. Yes, sir. Appreciate it. Hit that like button, man. Make sure y'all share the content. That's gonna wrap it up tonight, man, with me on Stats, man. Hey, I appreciate it, man. Make sure y'all give him a follow, man. He very consistent, good content. Give him a follow on IG. Follow me on my IG. It's down at the bottom. Kens_Pat Star. I'm on Twitter. Kendall Whitley. And then Ken's Pat Star. You make sure y'all hit the subscribe button on YouTube, man. I appreciate it, man. I really appreciate it, man. Y'all have a good one. We will probably be back probably Friday. We're gonna see, but we'll definitely let y'all know. Keep y'all posted.